We had Charles Barkley on Monday, and boy, did he put the star players in this league who are resting, taking games off on the road on full blast. And when you call these, because a lot of these games are happening when obviously TNT's in town or ABC's in town, which adds to the whole spotlight that's put on it. When you talk to the coaches who are resting some of these players, how does that process work? Is there somebody in the front office whose job it is to take the metrics of REM state and travel and figure out when these guys should sit, and the coaches are going to just stick to that plan no matter what, or the coaches deciding themselves, I need to give this guy a break tonight? What is it?
In the beginning of the season, Rich, we'll walk into these coaches' offices, and they'll have a calendar on the wall that will show every date of every game in the regular season. And they plan accordingly. It's a lot of feel, certainly. If a guy's injured, a guy's haggard, or whatever the case is. But they can look. We walked in Ty Lue's office the other night in Cleveland, and he had the month of March. And he says, all right, we've got 3 games in 4 days. We have 2 days off before. It's a road trip. We have 1 game in between at home, and then we got 2 days at the end. If I rest LeBron for a game or 2 at the end of that, he can have almost a week off with no practice, no work, only rehab and the things in the training room, and that's it. He said at this time of year, these guys are just beat up. To me, the obvious answer is the season is too long. And you know what else is just appalling? Not appalling. Well, it is appalling. Mm-hmm. They don't practice. The NBA does not practice. Now, I'm not talking about the guys at the end of the bench, the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th guys that are up and back from the D League, or now the G League, I guess we're going to call it. I'm talking about like the top 7 players. They don't practice. And if they've got that rare 3-day off span, they may come in, get a day and a half of good work. We hear about shoot-arounds and all the things, day of game, but they do not practice. It's the only sport, and the play suffers because of it. If you cut back the season to, say, 68 games as it was in that strike-shortened year, you've got better rested players, more practice time for better ability and skill, and a much better product overall, a much better product to watch for the fans. But if you go to the owners and say, you're going to go from 82 to 68 games, you're going to knock out 14 games, how are we going to make up that revenue? Well, figure out a way, maybe extend the playoffs, to another couple teams. Maybe, they're making more money than they ever dreamt they could make from the networks. But the product is hurting, and the thing that's being brought up now are resting the stars. I get it, and I get what Popovich and all these other guys do to their best players, because it only matters come the playoffs. But at the same time, people are paying a lot of money. People on TV are watching. The networks are spending a ton. And when you set your top 3 players, or in Cleveland's case, with Love being out, LeBron and Kyrie, what is there to watch? Tristan Thompson? It's not as compelling. And the problem is the league has gone after the stars. And I get that because it built the notoriety of the league. And it makes total sense. It's a marketing guy's dream. But in all the other leagues, it's all about teams. In the NFL, it's about teams. So that when a star receiver's out, doesn't matter. Green Bay Packers are in town to play the Chicago Bears or whoever. The league had to find a niche, and that's what they found. They've got the biggest stars on the planet. But there's a backside to that story, and we're going through it right now. And they got a smart commissioner, and they'll figure it out. But it sure is painful now and very uncomfortable to go through these scenarios where the best don't play. You see a family of 4, and they've paid a ton of dough, and they're not going to see LeBron, or they're not going to see, whoever they had paid to see. And that's too bad.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.